Hi guys, welcome back to another episode of Teen Talk Central. My name is Mia and I'm your host. Today we're going to be talking about losing friends and finding clarity post-friendship breakups. I know that a lot of people may think that kind of losing your friends is the end of the world, and it does feel like it sometimes, but I want today's episode to be a way for people to understand that it is not the end of the world, and you can get out of it and you can find the true people that will support you and love you for you. You just have to search a little bit. So today I want to get started by talking about two different types of mistreatments that you may find in a friend group situation, specifically group mistreatments and individual mistreatments. I'll first start off with more group mistreatments because I feel like that's a little bit more common nowadays. Personally, to me, group mistreatment looks like exclusion, rumors, and being pushed out of a friend group. In my experience, all of these did happen to me. Not only was I slowly pushed out from a friend group and being excluded from certain activities, but I was also having rumors spread about me, and people were coming up to me saying that I was rude, and I had never actually encountered or talked to this person prior to that. I want people to know here that when someone comes up to you and tells you that you are mean or something that they heard from somebody else, which is something that you know is not true and you've never spoken to this person, if you don't want to cause any drama or have a fight about it, just say, okay, I understand, and move on with your day. And remember, if they have never talked to you or they don't even know who you are, don't even bother or give them the time of day in your brain to be like, oh, maybe I was being a really mean person. Because if they don't come to you with any factual evidence, then why would you believe them? Because at the end of the day, you know yourself the best. The next type of mistreatment is individual mistreatment. It's more of like insults, manipulation, betrayal, potentially getting rumors spread about you again. It's more of the subtle ways people can be unkind without being super obvious and eventually drifting away from you. One thing I want to kind of say is that when it comes to that individual mistreatment, something that's really important is when you start to become friends with someone, don't automatically assume that they are 100% going to be your best friend, because you may only see 1% of their true personality, and as you get to know them more and more, then they may start showing their true colors. So just have a couple check boxes in your brain as you kind of become friends with them. Not saying that you cannot just, trust someone, but don't spill your deepest, darkest secrets to someone right as you meet them, because you never know if something could happen. And from personal experience, I've definitely learned how to spot, potential red flags in a friendship, and making sure I don't spill all of my secrets to one person, even though I think they're really trustworthy. I should wait and give them more time to kind of develop as my friend. And then eventually, if they are a really good person, then I would be lucky enough to, have more deeper conversations with them. But at the end of the day, it's up to you. And if you decide to do it, that's obviously something that you want to do. So I can't stop you, but it's just a piece of advice that I've kind of learned throughout my whole experience with friends. Now I want to get into the more nitty-gritty stuff. I want to talk about how I coped with losing my friends. In my past 3 years in high school so far, I have gone through a good amount of what you could call friendship breakups or losing friends. But there was one specific experience that really altered the way I saw people and saw friendships. So I want to kind of give you guys the insight of what was happening to me and like what was going through my brain during this experience. So hopefully it can help one of you guys out. And if you guys are going through something similar, this is kind of what I did, and hopefully you could, either take the advice or take it with a grain of salt and maybe try to help yourself out as well. The first thing I want to talk about is the emotional impact it had on me. I had obviously learned what depression was because I'm super interested in psychology, so it's something that was not new to me at all. But I have never been able to say in the past that I have been depressed. I have definitely been fortunate to live a life where I have a lot of laughter and happiness, but for a certain amount of time after I lost my friends, I could probably call myself mildly depressed, not severely depressed because I was still able to go to school, but I wanted to drop out of school and I wanted to not see anybody from my school because I was really just down in the dumps. And it was sad to me. I was frustrated. I was questioning myself. I was questioning every ethic and moral I had, every interaction I had with my friends in the past that had kind of made me not become friends with them anymore. And I didn't know how to handle myself, because I had always given advice to other people about how to handle their kind of situations, but I had never gone through it myself, and it's definitely harder to take your own advice. I feel like a lot of people say that, but I was always able to give good advice to other people, but I just couldn't understand why I couldn't take my own advice, and that also frustrated me a lot. For me, one of the greatest blessings I've had in my life was having such a good family and support system around me. My parents were genuinely, like, they were there for me. They were like, if you do want to drop out of school, it's an option that you can take if you want to go to a new school. They were like, I'm so fortunate to have such supportive family, and I have some really, really good, close friends that I've had since, like, preschool that I was able to talk to. People that I knew would stick by my side and knew me for me. And also they didn't go to my school, so that made me feel a little bit more comfortable. I would say that something that's really important is knowing, even if you think you'll never go through a friendship breakup, no matter what you go through in life, you're going to go through one kind of devastating thing. And having a group of people that are there to support you is so, so important. And I would say without my friends and family besides me, I literally don't know where I could have ended up. But there's also a bunch of other ways that you yourself can kind of try to help yourself if you don't have the best support system around you. I did a little bit of journaling. And I know a lot of people who do journaling tend to feel more refreshed afterwards, because they're kind of able to dump all of their thoughts out, and then they, maybe they don't read it for a week, but then they kind of look back and see, oh, wow, like I was really down in the dumps, but look at where I am now. But I think you just have to kind of figure out for yourself what's the best way for you to release this kind of anger or frustration that you might be experiencing while you are kind of going through a really tough time. And personally, I lost some friends that I thought would be really close to me, so it felt a little bit more deep than just kind of losing like a classmate or someone that I was like just kind of friends with. I would say that you have to also learn to find self-worth outside of friendships. I think before I used to be the type of person who I was secure with myself, but I definitely kind of surrounded myself and kind of made my self-worth in the amount of friends I had, and like if I was friends with someone for a really long time, I expected to be friends with them forever. But I've kind of learned through this experience that in order for you to be a really good friend, even in a relationship romantically, you have to first love yourself, and you have to first kind of value yourself at a high enough level, and then you can start to value other people and kind of almost expect to receive similar value, but you can only expect that once you yourself have kind of respected yourself to that value. And I guess another piece of advice I would just give is that you cannot be down in the dumps forever. For me, I was maybe quote unquote depressed for maybe 2 or 3 days, but after that I realized, okay, the world is still spinning. School, I still have to go to school. Life is still lifing. So you have to remember that it's okay to be sad for a couple days, but you don't want to have that sadness affect you for so long, because then maybe the people who you stop being friends with will be like, wow, like she really took that down. And like, do you really want to seem not weak, but do you want to seem like the person who kind of lets that one thing like alter their personality forever? I don't think that's a good idea. And personally, I'm really happy that I was sad for a couple days, and I was able to be in my feelings and be really sad about it. But then I was kind of able to be like, okay, now what do I do? How do I find better people to be friends with? And this is kind of my transition into the 3 types of people I have kind of categorized into, I guess, that have helped me along my journey after I've sort of lost my friends. I would say the first ones are the people who stood up for me. There was a couple people in my life at my school who were able to stand up for me and say, hey, like, if they heard a rumor, they would be like, I don't think that's really true. And also people that I didn't really know at the time who were also still standing up for me, because their ideology was that, okay, if I've never met them, I'm not going to talk crap about them, so maybe other people shouldn't as well. And I've definitely learned to realize that there was a good amount of people who did stand up for me, but I didn't really know them yet. And even having one person who stands up for you can change it can change everything for you. If they're super popular, for example, maybe everyone will start listening to them. And the lesson I learned from those people is that I really have to just go into things with an open mind and never really judge someone just because you heard someone say something. That does not mean that's their whole personality. And I think people do have to understand that. And I'm really, really grateful for those people because without them, maybe the rumors would have spread even further. I don't really know. But I forever thank those people and I still talk to them a lot. And yeah, I can't really say thank you enough to them because I think those people really did help me in ways that I didn't realize at the time. But now looking back, I definitely see how they helped me. The next type of person is the people who just stayed silent. The people who didn't change their personality towards me. I definitely have a couple people who, kind of interacted with the people who were talking bad about me, but instead of being rude to me, they just stayed normal. And sometimes all you want is normalcy. Like, not just people asking you, like, hey, are you okay? Because that's still different than your usual self. I really liked it when people would just treat me how they would always treat me, just saying, hey, like, did you do the math homework today? Just asking a question that doesn't surround yourself or even remotely mention that idea. Those people also really kind of impacted me because I was able to be myself and just like kind of forget about the things that were going on for even a minute or two, which personally really helped me. And I think these are just the people who don't pick sides, and I think it's really, really, really hard to find those people. And I would say you may have one or two of those people in your whole lifetime because usually people do pick sides, especially in high school, because of the fact that they want to stay popular, stay relevant, all that stuff. And the feeling that you get when you know that someone is kind of not picking sides and just being equal is so amazing. And to the people who did do that for me, I'm still friends with them and still forever grateful because they made me feel like normal. And normalcy was something I did not get for a couple months because people were still talking. And I think understanding that silence doesn't always mean that they don't care is something really important, because I think sometimes people feel like, oh, like if I'm depressed, all of my friends should be asking me if I'm okay. But I think from what I've realized, at least from my experience, I don't know about everybody else's, but sometimes just having them be silent is a lot more impactful to me than them continuously asking me, are you okay? Are you okay? Like, do you need help? Like, stuff like that. But at the end of the day, it is up to you. And finding these people are really, really rare. So if you don't have one of those people in your life, I'm sorry, but also it's not that easy to come across those people because people who don't choose sides are really hard to come across. And the last people are the people who just got to know me for me. It's kind of the unexpected friendships that I made along the way that also kind of came from losing other friendships. My current, really good friends literally came from me not having any friends, but they were like, hey, we've heard this about you, but instead of kind of believing everything they say, we are going to take you for you. And that is something that I'm just so grateful for, and I love these girls so much. And it's just, I really got the value of being seen for who I was and not just by association or by the rumors. And these people have graciously taken me in and given me the time and kind of allowed me to open myself up to them, so where they can learn about me and see, okay, she isn't mean and she isn't, being a bad person or talking crap about us. And they gave me the opportunity to be myself, and this really helped me rebuild my confidence and realize, okay, yeah, maybe sometimes I'm not the best person, but nobody is. Nobody's perfect, and that's something people have to understand. If you expect to have the perfect friend, honestly, good luck, because it's so, so hard to find someone that is 100% perfect, never talks bad about anyone, never does this, never does that. It's impossible. But they helped me realize that, yeah, maybe I have done bad things in the past. I don't really, I can't say I've done something super duper awful to where, it's criminally bad, obviously. But they've given me the chance to rebuild myself and like rebuild the confidence that I have in myself. It made me realize I am capable of still making friends, and I'm capable of opening myself up to new people and new experiences. And for those people, again, I'm grateful. And for all these people and the types of people I made and how they responded to the situation have really helped me. And I can't say thank you enough to all of those people, because without them, I would probably maybe be in another school trying to make completely new friends from at a new school, because I didn't want to be a burden to anyone. And that's one more thing I want to talk about, is that you should never feel like a burden when you are trying to make new friends, because you're just opening up your experience. If people make you feel like a burden when you're trying to talk to them, those are not the people for you, because the people who truly want to get to know you will always make you feel seen. And being the feeling of being seen is so, it's something that I can't essentially describe to you, but it's like almost like once it happens, you will know. And it's just something everyone should get to experience at least once in their life. As we end off this episode, I just want to reflect on my experience a little bit, and just say that people come and go from your life for a reason. So don't try to hold someone back purposely from leaving your life if they're having a negative impact on your life. It doesn't matter how long you guys have been friends, how much you guys have talked about. If they feel the need to leave the friendship, and they have at least even some sort of a reason, you have to let them go. I know that is so hard to hear. And even for me, it was so hard to understand that. I was like, okay, why? Like, we've been friends for so long. We've talked about so many things. Why would you want to leave me? But you also have to remember that, maybe you did something to them that you felt was perfectly fine, but maybe they felt like it was the biggest insult of their life. And maybe they won't tell you that, but you have to understand everybody has a reason. And that's something I've learned throughout just life in general, but specifically this, is that everybody has a reason. Maybe they don't want to tell you their reason, or maybe they don't even 100% understand their own reason for doing it, but you have to understand everybody has a reason. And I really, really encourage you guys, if you are going through something similar, DM me on Instagram, or even just find a trusted person that you can talk to. And if it's, talk to your parents. And if it's not your parents, maybe a really, really trusted friend. Not just how long you've been friends, but genuinely, if you can trust that person, maybe even get a therapist, I know people might think getting a therapist is embarrassing, but it's really not. Having just someone to talk to and a person that gives advice back to you is really, really important. And one final thing I want to say is that growth comes from tough experiences. And although those experiences may hurt you in the moment, they will eventually lead you to becoming a great and better person. And the right people will always find you. I think I've started to learn kind of who my right people are. But even then, I don't know, maybe tomorrow I stop talking to them. Who knows? But just knowing that the right people will find you eventually, and it may take a lot of pain, but eventually when you find those people, everything will feel amazing, because you've already gone through so much that you are kind of rewarded with an amazing friendship with amazing people. And I just want people to remember that you are never alone, and stay strong. You got this. And if you guys ever feel the need to reach out or just need someone to talk to, I'm always here. DM us on Instagram. Even, you can comment on this episode if you want other people's advice. And have a great and amazing day. And remember, you guys are amazing. And the people that come into your life will come into your life for a reason. And if they leave, they will leave for a reason.